Welcome back. Well, as promised, let's get straight to our next management. We have Mr. Nikhil Chopra, the CEO and Whole-Time Director at JBPharma, who joins us on the show. Hi, Nikhil. Good day. Good to have you on the show. Well, operationally, your numbers are pretty good.
Yeah.
The domestic formulations business. Yeah, the domestic. The domestic formulations business, actually, the growth out there was quite good, impressive. Early 20s, 22% or thereabouts. Could you tell us what's the outlook for this year? And also, if you could tell us the CDMO business, that as well has started, showing some good signs in terms of growth. What's the outlook on both these two?
So, Nigel, it was a good 9 months as what we have scored, close to 3,000 crore revenue for 9 months of the year. And India continues to dominate now, contributes around 60% of the revenue, which obviously is showing a growth of 22%, but this does not have the opthal base. Otherwise, the business is growing at 13-14%. And the outlook for India business continues to be market beating, around close to 12-14% as compared to Indian pharma market growth, which also was reported in the month of January. IMS, the market grew at 8% and we grew at 13%. So that will continue to happen, backed up by only continue to improve our contribution coming from chronic therapy. That is what I've been talking earlier also. Coming to CDMO, we had a very good quarter, but we should not look at 32% growth, because there was some business which was deferred from quarter 2 to quarter 3. But there are good number of new marquee projects which are on in the world of CDMO, and we continue to commit to our guidance that we want to take this business to $100 million in next 4 years as compared to where we stand today, $50 million. And this is also contributing 12% of the revenue.
Okay, interesting. What about profitability? Margins have been in that vicinity of 26 to around 28% or thereabouts. What's the plan to improve it from here on? Is there a risk to these margins?
So, Nigel, if you look at the last 3 years, we have been revising our guidance on margins, starting with 24 to 26%, then came 25 to 27%, and now our guidance is 26 to 28%. And whatever we have been guiding, we are always on the upper side of the guidance. If you look at our operating EBITDA margins, what has been reflected on the screen is margins, but we talk of operating EBITDA margins, which are 28 to 28.1%. So we will continue to drive margins, which are obviously on the higher side of the guidance, and we'll continue to at least look at growth, which is much more profitable also in the coming time.
Okay, how much more profitable? You want to give us a rough range, or what is the aspiration?
So there will be a 200 bips improvement in delta, which you will see in FY27 with the opthal business that we have in-licensed, which will be getting the perpetual license in January 27 when we pay Novartis $100 million. At that time, you will see a good jump in the absolute EBITDA margins. But at the right time, as on current business, though we have absorbed a 200 crore revenue, still we are able to score 28.1% margin, because there was a dip of 150 bips points, but that we are absorbed because of the better mix of the business, because of chronic business going up in India business, because of CDMO contributing more. So probably at the right time, we'll be more than happy to give new guidance on the margin, which only will be upwards and onwards.
Okay, all right. Mr. Chopra, did you have a word with the promoter entity? They must be so pleased, right, with the performance that you all have been given?
So we continue to have our regular dialogues with the promoters, and our board meetings, quarterly performance that continues to happen as usual.
All right. So in any of those discussions, have they mentioned what's the plan next? This has been a good asset that has turned around for them. And because of the nature of the business, at some point of time, you search for a buyer. Has that time come?
So that is at the end of the day, the promoters call. We continue to focus.
So I asked you Mr. Chopra, if you had a word with them. They are happy with the performance. So I want to know whether they have told you anything with regard to what are their plans in terms of running the company.
So they continue to be happy investors. We have been, the current discussions are right now we are having is on the next 3-year plan that we continue, that how do we continue to bring more trajectory in the business and continue to invest in the business. That is a dialogue if you want to know what I had with the promoter.
Okay, so nothing with regard to change of hands on the promoter entity, but for the time being, they're satisfied with the business. And thanks a lot, Mr. Chopra, for joining in. As you said, you're outgrowing the market. There is a tailwind as well with regard to margins, and you're sounding quite optimistic about the prospects going ahead on various businesses. Thanks a lot for joining in. Well, before we slip into that short break, take a look at the markets.